this was done in the early 2000s. A couple of students and I created these ceramic pieces and mounted them to try to make use of the whole wall.
It is my honor to get to interview a man who has dedicated his life to the community and mastering his craft to teach thousands of students the art of ceramics and opening their eyes to a whole new world of opportunities that they can use to express themselves as he expresses himself through his art of ceramics. Thank you for joining us to learn about his journey.
So that's centered. That's how we want it to be, like that, where it looks like it's standing still as it's spinning around.
Hello guys, you're watching Vexit, and I'm here with David here, and he is an instructor of ceramics, and he's been doing it for how many years?
I've been working in clay for 49 years.
49 years, that's some serious experience there.
That's right.
I took pottery 30 years ago last August when I was young, and then life got in the way. I quit for 30 years, had the best time, so last August I decided to get back into pottery, looked on the PVCC website. David was my teacher 30 years ago, and I was blown away that he was still teaching and I was able to take his class 30 years later. So it's been the best.
What brought you to this profession?
Well, I was a painting major in college. I knew I was going to be an artist from when I was about 12 years old. And I read the biographies of Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, and I said, well, being an artist would be the coolest job to have because you get to be creative all the time. And so I began studying drawing and painting immediately, and took painting lessons from a local artist in my hometown in Louisiana until I went to college and majored in painting in college, but was frustrated by it. I couldn't seem to finish a painting. There was always some weak spot in the composition. And so in my sophomore year of college, I took a pottery class as an art elective. And as soon as I got in there and tried the potter's wheel, I knew that's what I wanted to do because it was so interesting, it was so engaging, the clay spinning around under my hands and was so responsive directly to my touch that I just wanted to do that and nothing else. So I graduated with a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in painting, but I just wanted to be a potter. And so it wasn't by the influence of any one individual, it was just my experience of working with clay on the wheel. And when I graduated from college, I got a job in a pottery factory in Marshall, Texas, a place called Marshall Pottery. And they had a pottery area of the factory where people were making pots by hand like it had been done for over 100 years. This was a 100-year-old company and began making pottery back when pottery was a necessity in everyone's home. You know, in the 1890s, they didn't have glass and aluminum and plastic like we have now, and so pottery was what people had for containers to store things in, to cook in, to eat out of, right? And so in the 1970s, when I was working there, the pottery was still being made the same way, but now it's being used for decorative items. You know, people using a country-style pitcher or butter churn to decorate their home rather than as a functional item. But I worked there for 2 years and learned how to make pottery really, really well. I learned how to make pottery pieces all the same, whatever size or shape they were. I could make hundreds of them all the same, and that was great training. But I didn't know how to make glazes. I didn't know how to fire kilns. So there was a lot of information I needed in order to be a successful potter. So then I went back to school to get my Master of Fine Arts degree in ceramics. and was in, it took 3 years to earn that degree, and I've been working in clay ever since. And I've just enjoyed it because it allows me to express my thoughts and ideas in a material that is very tangible and very permanent. And you know, when a piece of clay is fired in a kiln, it becomes more like stone or rock in its hardness, and it will last for thousands of years. And so it's a way to preserve the things that I think of for the future, right? It's a very powerful idea when you think of it that way, that it allows you to extend yourself into the future. And so that's one of the reasons why I enjoy doing it.
Is there a certain aspect? Do you enjoy the wheel more, or do you enjoy like creating sculptures out of it? What's something that you find, or just all of it?
All of it.
Gotcha.
All of it. Yeah. It's the fact that you can make functional pottery that you can eat and drink out of, but you can use the same material and process to make sculptural things, to make tiles, musical instruments, whatever you can imagine, you can make in clay. It's really the best material for expressing ideas in whatever direction you want to go.
That's pretty cool. And so, what would you say for a ceramicist that's just starting out? What would be a good way to start?
Take classes. Community colleges are great because it's a place, it's affordable compared to a university. And it's a place that accepts everyone. And it's a way to learn from a teacher the skills you need and to practice them. And so a lot of people I see as students, they come in with the idea that, oh, this is something, it looks very easy when you see somebody on a video on Instagram making a pot, you know, oh, that looks easy. But they find out that it's very difficult, and they don't realize that it's something that takes time to acquire that skill. You have to practice. So it's like learning to play a musical instrument. You have to practice over and over again before you can make great music. When you're learning the guitar or the piano, right? And so in making pottery or working with clay, you have to practice so that you could go from making very simple, very basic things to making great art.
That's pretty cool. That's awesome. So when you're making your ceramics, how does that make you feel? Like, where does that take you?
Well, I get a very satisfactory feeling by looking at the things that I've made, the things that I created that didn't exist before. And what we do, what we're in the business of doing, no matter what level we are, is that we're trying to make beauty. We're trying to make something that's going to please ourselves, that's going to potentially please other people, and add to what was there before. And you know, in today's world, that's a really special ability to have, right? To add to everything else that already exists and to make it better. And I can't think of a better reason to do something.
I totally concur with you. I totally get the same feeling when doing my art. What is something that you feel, like my sister takes your class, and it's probably one of the most magical things that she's had happen to her is recently, is given her so much confidence.
Right.
It's really, like her talking to me about you, like I have a teacher like that, and it's Mr. Yu at Scottsdale Community College,
Yeah.
and I continuously take his courses for the last 20 years.
That's great.
But when you started, did you have the intention of changing people's lives?
I did not. When I started, I was looking for a steady paycheck. When I started teaching, I was looking for a steady paycheck. I was working as a full-time potter. I was making things to sell. I was working as a contractor for other pottery studios to help make things for them. And I was teaching, I was giving private lessons, and so it was a very hand-to-mouth existence, you know. I wasn't making a lot of money, and so here came an opportunity to teach at a community college, at Mesa Community College. And I thought, oh, well, I can do that at night, and I can do everything else in the daytime, and I'll get a steady paycheck. But I got in there, and here were the class of students who were all eager to learn from me, to learn what I had gathered and my skills and my experience. And I felt so good to have this opportunity to share with them what I knew and to help them achieve their goals. And I began to see that as a more valuable way to contribute to the world than through the individual clay objects that I made, by teaching someone else how to make things and to create their own form of beauty. I was able to exponentially increase my positive effect on the world.
That's awesome. That's powerful. Well, thank you for your time, Dave. We hope to follow up and see what you're doing once you're doing your own thing. And I heard you guys are going to do a mosaic.
That's right. So I've been really fortunate here at the college to have the opportunity to be project manager for a number of public art projects here on campus, where we have invited a local artist to design a mural, a ceramic mosaic mural, and then work with students to create the mural and install it somewhere on campus. And so this semester, this year, this fall and spring of 23 and 24, we're working with an artist named Chris Kolash to design and create a mural on the theme of wellness. And it's going to be permanently installed on the exterior of a building here on campus, and bring color and ideas to the campus. That's what these pieces, these murals, are about. And they provide the opportunity for people to come and participate in this process as well, of designing it, of brainstorming what wellness looks like, and then turning that into a ceramic mural. And so it's an involved process, but it is something that I have a lot of experience doing, and Chris has a lot of experience doing, and so it's going to be fun to see what form it takes, what it's going to look like. And so that's going to happen every Wednesday from noon to 2, starting in October.
Awesome. Well, we're definitely going to check out that progress.